let's jump into the big theme of software management, team management, right? Which is definitely something we kind of cover in a few minutes, but let's just kind of touch on a few points that have come up again, time and time again for us and other people close to us. So in general, what's like you've mentioned, you went and you spoke to all these people, right, in this challenging kind of situation. I guess, your actions were kind of doubled in the sense of you're trying to figure out, who everyone is, what are their skills, what are their, strong points and not so strong points. So I'm guessing like what are the common dysfunctionalities that you came to see in teams whenever you're doing these kinds of assessments and evaluations, and how do you go about troubleshooting those?
Yeah, I think so. First of all, every situation is unique, and every situation is truly unique. And yet, the issues tend to fall into categories, and they tend not to fall into the category of people, although that's occasionally the case. But more commonly, they fall into areas of process, of culture, of communication, of planning, and of rigor. And some combination of those five things tend to be what the issues are in that particular software development organization problems. And so part of troubleshooting a dysfunctional organization is winning the trust of the organization and winning the trust of the individuals in the organization, with the knowledge that what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to shake things up. We're just trying to make things better, and better means that we're all going to be happier. and boy, there's nothing like having a happy team, and there's nothing for performance like having a happy team. I think to your second question in that first bullet, what are common dysfunctionalities in teams? Calling something agile that's been Frankenstein together. So I just heard this phrase in the last couple of days. We Frankenstein together an agile process, and I think that is so true of so many organizations that I come into. So my role these days is I've been consulting for the last 8 years. I parachute in as an interim VP of engineering or part-time fractional VP of engineering. I also train. For 11 years, I've been training teams in Agile and mostly in Scrum. And what I find, whether it's one of those roles or the other, what I typically find is what I almost always find these days is everybody says we're Agile.
Right.
And then when you start digging down, what you find is, well, we do some Agile practices. And we may or may not do them well. And then if you dig into the organization, you find that maybe a third of the team, a third of the organization has worked in some other company that said they were Agile. They may or may not have been. In fact, some people will say, well, I worked in another company that said it was Agile. Well, and they know it wasn't Agile.
That's actually a great point.
And then a third of the team has read a book on Agile, but they've read all different books. And then the third, they're trying to learn Agile from the first two thirds. All of whom have a different idea of Agile. So there's no alignment around process, and Frankenstein together is a really good characterization of their Agile process.
Do you think Agile as a concept has been overrated over the past few years, or is it dead like a concept? Because it's what you were saying, right? A lot of people understand a lot of things, and when it comes to come together on a common vision of Agile, it's like a Frankenstein opera, right?
I don't think Agile's been overrated. I think it's been underused and understood.
Right. Do you think it still holds true to its original core values today?
So I think those teams that are using Agile most successfully and most powerfully are directly tied into the original values of Agile. The original values, and go back to the Agile Manifesto. If you use the Agile Manifesto as a window to look through, to say, are our practices enabling us to achieve these 12 principles and these 4 sets of values, are our practices actually aligned with the values? And often enough, what you want to do is to tweak those practices so that you do bring them into alignment with the values, because the values are very powerful.